San Antonio. This is Robb for the MetalWorks. We're here, yes, at the Casa, and it brings me great pleasure to welcome, first and foremost, Dallas and Doc of the band, God Forbid. How are you guys doing this afternoon?
We're doing great. I'm doing great. I don't know how my brother's doing, but we're in the Casa, so the Casa is nice, air-conditioned, and you know what I'm saying, cervezas importada for everybody.
How you doing, Doc? Good to see you, man.
Oh, I'm recovering on. Thanks to you. Had a long night last night, so slowly getting to it today. Hopefully, I don't look too under the weather.
It's great to finally have you guys here in San Antonio after much planning to make this happen. We are already big fans of Earthsblood. It's not even out yet, so at the same time, I also feel very privileged to be one of the first people in the country to really talk to you guys about Earthsblood on camera. So let's just go ahead and dive right into it. But before we do, I know that you guys supported Constitution of Treason for a long time. How did you feel about going back into the writing process after being out on the road for so long? Was it easier for you to get back into that mode, or was it more difficult?
I think it was difficult at first to get back into that mode. I think when if I remember correctly, and my memory is a little bit hazy because of last night, but we went to go write after Constitution. Like, we had some tours lined up, but in between tours we tried to go write, and some things just weren't vibing, I guess. Would you say that was like kind of?
I think when it's time to write, it. Like let's say you're in the middle of like a touring cycle for an album, but you'll have some rehearsals and you'll try work some stuff out, and you can feel that it doesn't have that vibe. When you're writing, you need to fully immerse yourself in the process. And for me, it was, I guess it was, in a sense, there was a lot of anxiety about it. Like, I remember there were days I would go to rehearsal and I would be almost like scared that I wouldn't be able to bring the great material. And I feel like every album, there's always that worry, like, am I not going to be creative? Am I not going to be able to come up with strong material? Have I already peaked, as a songwriter? Do I not have enough fire? Am I not, because, with each generation, there's new metalheads and new bands, and guys are playing faster and they're more technical, and you always want to feel like you're at a high level.
Even as a fan of the band, I was a little anxious because we were huge fans of Constitution of Treason here at the show, and I was like, God, these guys are going to have to dig really deep to top Constitution of Treason because it's such a great record. And, I've been one of the fortunate people to have had a copy of Earthsblood for a few weeks now, and I was telling you last night, like, you motherfuckers did it. Earthsblood's great, and the thing I love about Earthsblood is that, once again, it highlights God Forbid in a continuous evolution. This record is not like Constitution. It sounds different in a variety of different levels. So let's talk a little bit about how you feel Earthsblood differentiates itself from not only Constitution, but things that you have done in the past, and what new elements that you bring in to kind of say, we are continuing to evolve and not afraid to push the boundaries of our band.
Well, I think Doc and I, when we did Earthsblood, we really wanted to make like just a metal record, but we wanted it to be really dense. So we decided to write the songs in more of a simple way, but we wanted it to be really progressive all the way through. There really was no concept. We decided not to really have a concept, and we kind of wanted to mirror the structure of Gone Forever, where it's like, it's just a bunch of kick-ass songs, instead of like Constitution, where it's like all these songs are kind of tied in together. It's a little heavy-handed, and I think in the writing of that, when we decided to do that, I think it kind of freed us up a little bit to be able to be like, we have these songs, we have these songs, we have these songs. It's like, I don't know, we wanted like normal people, if you weren't a big metalhead, to be able to hear the record and be like, damn, I really like this. I don't know why, but I really like this. I think Constitution, it might be a little bit heavy for some people because it's about the end of the world, and you got, society's ending and all this stuff, and and I think this record, I don't know, we took a little bit more time to write it. We took more time to record it, and I think that we wanted to be more patient. We wanted to let songs breathe, and just let them breathe, so we knew exactly what we were doing.
One of the elements that I quickly noticed off the bat was like the really low end guitars, and on some of like the breakdowns, they sound like just crunching. I mean, just like brutal. I mean, and I can tell you, I mean, you guys know how I jam it. I'm jamming it loud, so like you hear, dun, 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 you know, it's really like, you know, it's unique when you hear other God Forbids records. So, how did that kind of evolve? Was that something that you were saying, you know, is that part of that whole dense thing that you were talking about?
Well, that mainly comes from us looking for other ways to find inspiration. Like, I mean, and I'm sure a lot of guitar players can vibe with this. When you get a new guitar, like a brand new guitar, you always like write all these cool riffs because just the instrument itself will bring things out of you. And for us, it was just about changing it up. Like, I feel like every album we do is like a rebellion against the previous record. Like, you know, we put out an album, Determination, and Gone Forever was like the exact opposite of that. We made it straightforward and more melodic and not as crazy. And then Constitution was like almost like us kind of rebelling against formula, you know, and maybe just heavy for the sake of being heavy. And then this album is like just a complete rebellion against all of that. And almost it's like, I think this is the most this is the album we've been ourselves the most, you know, where we really haven't like looked outward and said, oh, we want to be like that band, we want to be like that band, let's just be who we are. And I think the 7 strings, it's just like, wow, this is different. Gives us another element to explore, and it doesn't mean we can't do the same stuff we did before, but we can go there. It's just another tool.
One of the other added elements that I see quickly noticed with Earthsblood and Dallas, I had a chance to, you know, talk about this last night, but it's the fact that you're simply just singing a lot more on this record. You guys have always done backup vocals, but it seemed like Dallas, the singing on this record is a lot more prominent. It sounds like sometimes like Byron's kind of the backup vocalist on some parts of different songs, but I think that also kind of highlights the melodic in God Forbid, but I think it also allows you guys to like provide different soundscapes for the song. So talk a little bit about that too.
Well, I mean, I think that the songs more dictate that because we always write the music first. And one of the things that we really want to do, we really want to have a big progressive nature to the album because we've always been impressed by bands like Opeth and like Bodum and Meshuggah and all these things. And, you know, sometimes, you know, you get angry when, you know, people put a tag on you, like the metalcore tag or, you know, new wave of heavy metal or the hardcore tag, you know. And sometimes, like you said, it's a rebellion, you know. But the way we wrote the songs, like you know, the first 3 songs we wrote, I think, were Empire of the Gun, Gaia, and The Rain, you know. And those songs pretty much, except for Gaia, they were pretty like typical God Forbid songs. Except, I mean, The Rain, we added some black metal, we did some, but you can picture us doing that. But the way those songs are written, because of the 7 strings, we couldn't really go as faster because with 7 strings you're tuned down lower, so you kind of have to slow down a little bit more.
I think he hit the nail on the head where we basically wrote material that challenged us. Where it was like, all right, you have this really dynamic material, or you write a song that's like 9 minutes long. How do you vocally attack that when kind of historically you've maybe adhered to more of a specific structure or formula? So it kind of challenged us to be more creative. And also a song like The Nuclear, which is, it's, you know, it's very open. So, you know, and we purposely like recorded the vocals a little bit more bare. We didn't layer it as much. We really wanted to hear actually the tone of. Well, you know,
from the standpoint of what he's saying about how everyone's trying to be heavier and heavier and heavier, I think it actually works in our advantage because we've always kind of been an underdog in the scene, like from a lot of things, just because of who we were, and then into the whole idea of like, oh, how come this happened and you guys were left here? You know, I felt that every single step that we took was kind of a process, and now that everything is heavy and heavy and heavy, I noticed our album's getting great reviews, and a lot of people are giving it great reviews because they appreciate the melody. You know, it's like a lot of people say, oh, you singing to sell records. Like, motherfucker, we don't sell records like the way you think people sell records. Us singing in the state of music, it's more of a risk, us singing, because heavy records are selling. So for us, people are appreciating the melody.